At the beginning of the film, we see John Wick, who was preparing to fight. Then a man comes to him, who was a very good friend of John. He had brought a suit for him that was safe from guns and bullets, and he also tells John that you will have to make good preparations because you have to compete with the mafia for whom John used to work. But since John stopped working with them, the people of the high table had become John's enemies. All this preparation was done by John for them. After this, we are shown the scene of the desert. John, riding a horse, was shooting while driving them away. They were running away from him, but John kills them all. After that, he goes to his king. The king says to him, "I know, John, your intentions are not right. You want to finish the high table. But keep one thing in mind, that after finishing all this, then think that if I die, others will come. But this game will continue." John says to him, "I just asked for my freedom." The king replies to him that if you think that you will get freedom by killing me, then you are wrong. Not listen to that king, and shoots him on his head and kills him. After this, the scene shifts to New York, where we see a hotel. A man comes to the manager of the hotel whose finger was cut. That man had brought a special message from the high table. Now the manager takes him to his master in front of Winston and says that after the death of our king, everything belongs to our boss Marcus. He wants to meet you soon. Now Winston takes his manager and goes to a very big building to meet Marcus. Here Marcus had called Winston because a long time ago I had asked you to kill John. So how is he still alive? Winston says, "I don't know, but I had killed him." Marcus says, "Yes, he is still alive because he has killed our king, and he is behind the people of our high table. You have cheated us, Winston, and you will definitely, as soon as the time is over," which Marcus had sent to his man in the hotel. There is a big blast in the hotel. Winston's entire hotel was destroyed. Marcus's anger had not cooled down yet. He also shoots Winston's manager and kills him. In the next story, we see a girl who was playing the violin, whose name was Kane. Her eyes were bad. He could not see anything properly. Kane also gets a message to meet Marcus, because he also used to work for the high table. When he goes to meet Marcus, he says to him, "I know that you are our best killer who can kill anyone." "Yes, I know, but I have left that job long ago." Marcus says, "Think about it. If you want to save your daughter's life, then you will have to do one thing for us. You have to kill a person." And now he shows Kane the name of the man. John and Kane used to be very good friends. Anyway, Kane agreed to what he said, because he had to save his daughter's life. The scene goes to a hotel from here. The special thing about this hotel was that no person living here could fight, and neither could any enemy attack, murder, theft, bloodshed. Everything was forbidden in this hotel. Her daughter was telling the hotel owner all the details. That's when John comes to her. The owner's daughter says, "Dad, the mafia people are looking for him, and they follow him. They can come here too." But the hotel owner says, "No, I will definitely save him from those goons." Then some of Marcus's people come to the hotel, who ask the owner, "We have heard that John has taken shelter in your hotel. If he is here, then hand him over to us." But the hotel owner says, "No, he is not here, and if you want the preparations." Marcus's men take out their weapons and attack the hotel owner. That's when the hotel owner had also called his companions. There is a great fight here. The people of the hotel owner's team were fighting them very bravely. Some of them were swordsmen. The owner's daughter also fights with them. There was a very dangerous fight between all of them. Meanwhile, John also comes there. He also had a small pencil in his hand. He came and killed all the goons of Marcus with his gun. When Marcus's man sees that he is going to lose, Ken had also come to the hotel, who was blind with his eyes, but he had a lot of weapons to fight, which were made by him, like he had a stick. When anyone came to him, it would vibrate. That's when John comes here. Ken knew it immediately. He was going to kill him. Before that, who was behind John, because Marcus had put a very big name on John to kill him. That man saves him from Ken, But if he wanted, he could have killed him himself, because he needed money. But that greedy man does not do that. He was waiting, that whenever the name will increase, when the hotel owner and his daughter were running away from their goons. Then Ken stops them. The hotel owner says, "How did you forget? There was a time when you, me, and John were very good friends. How can you be after my and John's life?" To which he replies, "Please forgive me, is in danger." Saying this, he kills him. The hotel owner's daughter ran away from here and reaches a train, in which John was also there. From here, they became friends. Again, we see Winston, who was looking at his ruined hotel, which was blown by Marcus. There, John's friend is also. Who was getting him ready for the fight? Both of them. Marcus had finished everything. So that's why both of them were together now. That is, they were also now enemies of Marcus. On the other side, the same man goes to meet Marcus, who wanted to kill John for money. Marcus's man comes to call him. Then Ken says to that man, he says, "Think well before making any deal with Marcus." Now when that man goes to meet Marcus, then he asks, "Who are you?" He says, "No one. I am just nameless. I just know about John. I need 25 million to kill him." Such an answer. I also know where That's why he stabs that man in the hand and says to him, "If you take your hand out of this knife, then our deal is fixed." That greedy man did not want to lose this chance. Hearing this, that man does not take the knife, but separates his hand from the knife. Marcus's friend he was bleeding a lot from his deal is fixed. There Winston goes to his manager's grave, who was killed by Marcus. John was also there. John says, "I got to know about your hotel. I am very ashamed. Everything happened with you only because of me, because you had left me alive despite Marcus's words." Says that Marcus has a very big team. I want you to tell him to compete with him. I am sure he will definitely compete with you. Winston says to him, "I am sure he will definitely compete with you. I am sure he will definitely compete with you." Winston tells him about the universe two families will be face to face. But there was no family of John here, because he had separated from his family a long time ago. But now he had to compete with Marcus. So now he goes back to his sister, where she puts a rope around John's neck and hangs him. She knew that because she was very the high table were behind John, and at any time they can come here, and at any time they can come here, from whom his sister's family is also in danger. He tells his sister, "I have called Marcus for the competition, but before that, I will have to make a connection. I will give you one more chance to return again. But before that, I will have to make a connection with my family." His sister says, "Fine, I will give you one more chance to return again. If you kill that man, the one who killed our dad, just kill him and then you can his father's killer." We see that man who was John's father's murderer, who was sitting with trump cards and playing. He was playing with cards. He had a can, and he was a greedy man who had made a deal with Marcus to kill John. That's why they both knew that John will come to this man. Now when John comes there, the man tells him that he was the murderer of his father. What's the matter? "John, you have so many enemies. This man wants to kill you. Ken also wants to kill you. And I also want to kill you. Let's play a game first." Now all of them who was the murderer of John's father was one. John cuts that man's throat with the card of the crown. When he was running away from him by saving his life, John was behind him. While dancing in the bar, John kills all the men of the murderer. When the turn comes, the man who was the murderer of his father, he also beats him a lot. But in the end, John pushed him from the stairs, which injures his head, and there he died. As a sign, John had kept that man's golden tooth with him, so that he can show his sister that he has killed the murderer. His sister also included him in her family. His ritual of making a dragon mark on the arm, she also puts it on John's arm. On the other hand, Winston goes to Marcus and says that John has challenged you to a competition. Hearing this, he says that a family is needed for this, and I know that it is not like that. His family is his sister. Marcus says, "Okay, If John wants to compete with me, then I will definitely fight him. But from my side, I will have some other man. That day comes, the day their competition had to be decided. John and Marcus are made to sit on a very big but they were not made of paper, but made of steel. Here they had to decide about the conditions of the competition. The one who will get a big number, his turn will be heavy. There were 3 conditions in this game: a place to fight, a weapon the next day, and a man. The biggest rule of this game was that if someone did not reach on time, then that man will be killed at the same place where he will be present. After all this, John meets Ken in a church. They both tell their stories to each other, and Ken had to save his daughter. Will definitely do their work. On the other hand, Marcus's man talks to him. He says, "You did not do well by competing with John, because I know he will not let you win at any cost." Marcus listens to everything and says, "This will happen only when he will come for the competition." He goes to one of his men and says, "Spread this news everywhere that whoever kills John will be given a very big reward." There his friend comes to John, who had brought a gun and bulletproof suit for his competition. Now because this news had spread everywhere that whoever kills John will be given a city was now behind John. It was becoming difficult for John to escape from everyone, but he was sitting in the car saving his life and shooting everyone. He also kills a lot of people there. This was seen by the greedy man and Ken standing far away. John was hiding in a building who were continuously attacking him. Now here the greedy man was also going to kill John, because he also came to know that there is a very big reward for killing him on John's head. So when Marcus's man tries to kill that man's dog, John comes there and that man had now become John's friend. John goes ahead after getting out of all this. The night had also passed. Now it was going to be morning. John had to climb 200 stairs and reach the mountain where his competition was going to take place. But here again goons he competes with them. Here Ken and the greedy man also come to help him. These 3 were competing with each other. After seeing all this, finally John had reached for his competition. In this competition, Ken was going to fight on Marcus's side. He is given guns first, from 20 feet, and it hits the back of Ken. And the last bullet on John's shoulder again was shot in John's stomach. In this way, Ken won the competition. That is, Marcus had won this competition. Then he himself comes forward and says that I will shoot John for the last time, which will hit his head. Winston says that maybe you are thinking wrong. When Ken had fired a bullet, John did not. There is still a bullet in his gun. After hearing this, John fires a bullet on Marcus's head, which killed him. And finally, John won the competition. According to the promise, John that he will rebuild Winston's hotel with his money. And now, no one will bother John again on his behalf. With this competition was also over here. At the end of this story, John's grave is shown with his wife, on which it was written, John Wick, loving husband. Here, Winston and John's friend were at his grave. In this story, we were not shown John dying. No one knew if he was alive or dead, or then Winston made his fake grave to hide his truth. And with this question, this movie story ends here. Thank you.